Well, great. Now, you recently said that the days of being 100% face and 100% heel in the WWE are coming to an end. Why do you feel that way? And personally, do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing for the business?
Well, I think the business has always followed trends, in the public. You go all the way back to, for one of the prominent examples is after World War II, you had a proliferation of wrestlers portraying Germans. You had a proliferation of wrestlers portraying Japanese athletes because World War II, the Japanese, after they bombed Pearl Harbor, were villains. The Nazi Germany was obviously villains. So
right.
Movies did the same thing. All the movies that were made that spun off World War II. So then you had the same thing on television and in wrestling during the Gulf War when you had the Iron Sheiks of the world and other wrestlers portraying Middle Eastern people. So it's just a trend. I think we live in a kind of a defiant age, a short attention span and a defiant age. I think some people, quite frankly, identify and relate to that attitude. They live kind of vicariously through those people. I think the cool factor is prevalent. So it's challenging as a creative person, I would think, to book in this day and time, but that's kind of where we are. You just kind of got to follow the trends and attitude, swagger, chip on your shoulder type mentality, whether it be in the NFL or, look through the SEC football conference. You got if Alabama goes on the road, they're the biggest villains in the conference.
Right.
When they play at home, they're the beloved baby faces. Mm-hmm. It's just a fact of our society. And people now are less inhibited. They feel like they should be individualistic in how they support people, so they don't have a problem cheering the bad guys if they think the bad guys are cooler than are the fan favorites.
So do you think a lot of that is due to social media? And we now know that, hey, this guy really doesn't hate me. He's just reading a script. He's doing his job, and I can actually like him because he might like me.
I think social media has a role in it, a prominent role, without question. I think it's just a trickle down philosophy of life. Again, sports and entertainment, things that we see on TV. Why does TMZ cover all the controversial people in Hollywood? Because that's what people gravitate to. There's news there, or they perceive it to be news. So it's a day and a time that we live in. And social media certainly has a way of facilitating that. And fans have more, like you said, more information than they ever had in the history of the wrestling business. So, and they are able to draw their own conclusions based on the information that they're provided.
So what do you think the WWE should do with Roman Reigns? He's obviously one that would fit in the category of not being 100% face or 100% heel. He's kind of in the middle. Some love him, some love to hate him. What do you think they should do with him?
Well, it's easy for all of us on the outside to look in and say, well, they should do this, they should book that, they should do this. I don't know their long-term plan, and quite honestly, their long-term plan is really what matters. If you just judge it on today and today alone, I would be tempted to make him, or try to make him a villain.
Right.
I would listen to the audience probably and use that as market research, for the lack of a better term. And probably go that way as a villain, but then you're going to have some fans that just enjoy cheering the villains.
Absolutely.
So they'll still get applause. So sometimes you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. But the one thing that I wouldn't do with Roman Reigns is to force feed him whatsoever, and that goes for any talent. The audience understands that when it's being that process, they generally resist it and spit it back at you. So. Reigns is probably more traditionally in my booking mindset. I probably would go the safer route, and that would be to make him a villain. But if there's a bigger plan that I'm unaware of, and I'm sure that there probably is, it may be that they're steering the course with him because they know that there's a payoff coming down the road that you and I aren't aware of.
Right. I think contrary to popular belief, he's pretty over, actually, because I tell fans all the time, if you really hate somebody, get up and leave, especially with Roman Reigns. He's usually in the main event. You've seen the rest of the show. If you want to actually tell them you really don't like this person and you're not just booing them to have fun, get up and leave. If they're getting a reaction, that's what Vince and the WWE wants, I believe.
Well, you don't want to be neutral. You don't want to be Geneva, Switzerland, where neutrality is the order of the day. And the thing about Roman Reigns is that he creates and elicits a reaction. So there's never crickets when he's in the ring. So he's got a lot going for him. It's not as dire straits as a lot of people think. A lot of people are, they fixate over how to book Roman Reigns, and again, they don't know the backstory. I don't know where they're going with him, and which is fine. I don't need to know.
Right.
It's good. I think he'll be all right in the long haul. He's a good kid, good athlete. He's just got to find his niche and creatively, and essentially that's what they're searching for.